The following podcast contains mature language and adult discussions.
Should have had a Santa hat. Or does it not count? It's the day after. Christmas was yesterday, so. I leave the fucking tree up, though. This thing's staying up till February. There's no rush to get that down. So I guess I could have worn a Santa hat. All right, let's Kliq This. The Kevin Nash podcast. If you're looking for somebody else, maybe John Tenta. He's not here. But he will be in that vicarious fashion. It's I'm Sean, that's Kev, and another Christmas in the books. Not too quick for you, and not quick enough for you, I should say. I'm getting the sense you're going to tell me.
Well, no, I lost my mom in '94, December 27th, so I've pretty much fucked Christmas since then, so
yeah,
you know, unless you're singing away in a manger, go fuck yourself.
What about John Tenta in a Santa outfit?
Be impressive.
Would you hang it on a tree? Probably.
That one in Rockefeller might hold it.
Yeah. Just got that.
It's a big fucking dude, man.
Yeah, and a little Christmas gift to our ad-free show subscribers. They are watching us in a live audience setting today. So if anybody out there sees some comments popping up here, that is our live studio audience. Like the old days, like I Love Lucy. Hey, Lucy. And I probably can't do that accent.
Have you ever seen that movie?
The one with who was it? Who played Lucy? She was so good.
Nicole Kidman.
Yes,
great movie.
I'm hot and cold with Nicole Kidman, and I thought she was tremendous in that. It was great. It was really great. You know, if you play 6 Degrees of Nicole Kidman, I think I've been in like 3 movies. Stepford Wives. I voiced. I'm actually the opening voiceover in a movie she did called Birth. Where I play the voice of her dead husband, and there might have been another one. I think that's my highest frequency of actor that I. Kevin Bacon.
I was never a huge, but I remember there was a movie called Cold Mount. And she comes out of this cabin with like not a stitch of makeup on it. She's like impeccably beautiful. And I remember just sitting there, and it was, this is back when you actually went to the theater and watched movies. And I remember sitting there looking at her at the big screen, going, "Wow, because she kind of had that stigma when she was with Cruise, like she's hot, but what the fuck's wrong with her?"
To be with Tom,
yeah. And I did a movie with Tom. I mean, Tom's he was a complete gentleman, great guy, talked football. I mean, just nothing like I thought he would be.
Regular dude kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone likes Tom. I mean, listen, the Scientology thing's a bit weird, and I've seen some interview footage of Tom talking. I think it was like a promo video for Scientology.
To me,
rambling mess.
The Bill Burr piece on Scientology is like it's about as good as it gets. Like he just says like L. Ron Hubbard walked around in tennis shoes. Like what the fuck? It's like 50 years ago. Come on.
But, yeah, and then the boat thing. They're playing on the boat.
My son
the
used
organization. The Sea Org.
My son used to riff on that all the time.
The Sea Org or just Scientology?
Just the fucking the saluting and the
Yeah.
it was just too much for him.
Had the paramilitary aspect get added to people that are attributing problems in the world to aliens? Just had like, where did that whole thing happen? The suit. You ever see like the highest ranking?
Well, but see what happens is because most of religions completely fucking made up bullshit anyway. That it's just that we've been around since the concept. It's like if McDonald's was a religion. We've all been around since the conception of McDonald's, so we'd be able to pick it apart. See, nobody was around 3,000 years ago, so you got to. Well, the good book says, fuck you. Hamburger was 10 cents when I was a kid.
If you prayed to Ronald McDonald, your prayers would probably be answered, roughly with the same percentages as any other 6 of Kevin and Sean. As any other deity, right? It's sometimes gets a little random. But yeah, so that's what you see there, folks. That's the thing. Did you find that open, Steve? I don't know if it's on if anybody's pirated that Birth on YouTube or not. Wesley actually saw Birth. Good for you.
What did I see the other day that was pretty good? It was a Netflix movie. It was like a 2013. God, was it called
The John Tenta Story?
No. What's that? I know for a fact there wasn't an Asian in the film. God, it's Jake Gyllenhaal and the cat that's Wolverine.
Hugh Jackman?
Yeah. And the kids, the two girls get the other guys
Prisoners? Prisoner?
Prisoner? Is that what it is? Yeah, I think that's what it is. I didn't they had a couple of pretty good plot twists in that. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Prisoners. Yeah. So
that was a made for Netflix deal?
No, it was. It came out in 2013. When you go through and occasionally you actually watch a film where you go, oh, wow, it was actually worth that Polar movie. It's like, oh, that was actually pretty good.
Does are you able to hear "Baby It's Cold Outside" anymore? It's a great. I do hear it on the radio, but then I heard that there was like this push when things got fucking crazy and they were hashtagging all this shit. I heard they tried to like go after that. That
was one of the ones they said that it was a no-go. They stopped playing it.
But they're stupid because they don't understand that it's the girl playing coy. He's not really forcing himself into the fucking apartment with his foot in the door. It's the dance. It's the mating dance, man. I can't take people anymore.
You're saying this to people that stormed the Capitol after their fucking man lost by 9 billion fucking votes.
No, it's the other side that wants to ban anything that seems toxically masculine.
Oh, this is the left.
This is the far. This is the extreme. This is the equivalent of the January 6th yo-yos, but on the other fucking side. Baby, it's cold outside. What? I wrote cum sponge here. What, Kev? Why did I write cum sponge? I have baby, it's cold outside. Cum sponge.
Because
did the sponge freeze?
No, there's a stand-up guy. I don't know where I saw it. I had to see it on YouTube, or it might have been just on Instagram when you flip through and you watch the little tapes. But just white bread, white dude was talking about Baby It's Cold Outside and how they were trying to cancel it. And he said, now let me read the lyrics to this song. And it was by some black rapper. It was a girl. And her opening line is like, let me be your cum sponge. That's like the
But
opening.
that's on the rate. That's okay.
That's okay. But baby, it's cold outside. Not
Is
so
the
much.
problem.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Who's this artist? Can someone find me the Cum Sponge Girl? Because that
Maybe
can
it's
be
something pussy. It's maybe puss something or
very good. That's the birth name. That's on the birth certificate, no doubt.
puss.
Ah, kish me and took us. All right. William Strong has some feedback for us. It looks like William Armstrong, I'm sorry, from last week. He said, just want to say thanks, Kev, for getting me through the toughest times. It's the best update I get every day. Love from the northeast of England. You're an adopted Geordie. Keep doing your thing. You're an adopted Geordie. Did you know that?
I'll take it.
Okay.
As long as I'm not on that Netflix special.
If I go to England, I'm talking about going to England this spring because I've never been. Now, am I going to be able to eat? Because
oh yeah,
the food
is completely
not having a roast and potatoes.
Completely different. That place has changed so much in the 30 years I've been going there.
All right, well, you have to give me a list of places then.
I'll tell you one thing: if you're going to be in London, go down to off Piccadilly. Go down to the theater district. There's a
West End.
There's an Indian restaurant.
Oh,
that
now
is
we're talking.
Unbelievable.
Oh, now we're talking.
You go down.
Indian's one of my favorite foods.
It's probably some of the best. Besides, actually, when I've been in India, probably some of the best Indian food I've ever had in my life.
But you can't enjoy it in India, right? Because like the dead are rotting in the streets and like wafting into the restaurant.
When we went there with the Federation, I mean, we stayed, 5-star hotels. It
Did you
was
drink
horrible.
the water?
No. I mean,
Even in the hotel, they tell you no.
No, I mean, I washed my hair and like some water got in my mouth and I was shitting blood in 3 days.
Are you kidding?
No, fuck no, man.
Wow.
That's
Well, you drink all bottled stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Timothy Farr, I love how positive this podcast community is. Seriously, most podcast communities have a lot of toxicity and cringe takes. This podcast has done the rare thing in bringing all the decent people on the internet to one place. That in itself is an effing miracle. Thank you, Timothy.
Well, you know what? Because I think that there was another layer against Trump this week, or the last 10 days, and with the 4 counts that looks like they're going to go forward. They're going to throw to the
Department of Justice.
Yeah, 4 counts, and then his tax returns, and like all these things. And I'm just saying to myself, like. And I think we had this discussion the other day, but I was saying, like, I sat and watched the O.J. Simpson trial, and they showed a picture of a size 13,
the Bruno Magli shoes,
Bruno Magli imprint in the blood of the 2 deceased murdered people. And then they showed a picture of O.J. wearing that same shoe back when nobody knew what that shoe was. I mean, like probably O.J. was the only person that had a 13 Bruno Magli in the country. And somehow he walked. And you're going to tell me that because I said, hey, man, let's as far as I'm concerned, whoever when he supposedly reached over to grab the wheel and said, fuck that, let's take this up the road. And they went, no, Mr. President, we're going back. Whoever did that, because, I mean, at that point right there, it's just like, that's the old when you're a kid. When your mom goes, so if
Jimmy would have jumped off the bridge, would you jumped off with him?
Yeah.
That old thing. It's like, no, motherfucker. It's like, he didn't. I don't know. I don't see him. I don't see him getting any heat for this. Nothing.
I have to break the flow for a minute. I don't know. I don't know if it was my headphones or what. If you listen back to right after your impression, I fucking swear I heard an echoey laugh. And I don't have echo here. I heard a laugh. Watch it. I'm very curious to watch this back. After the show, Steve, are you able to slide back in the recording? I want to see this point. It was 47 minutes, or when he does that impression, I'm freaked out. I heard him laugh. All right, whatever.
You think you heard T?
I'm not that guy, so I'm not going to say that. My world is very much in what I see and touch, but man, there was a really weird thing that just happened right there. I want you guys to listen. Maybe it's my headphones. No,
I tell you, man, there's been so many incidents. The other night,
your chair might have creaked or something.
I was downstairs. I was watching TV, and I've been sleeping in his room, and he has probably the best audio visuals set up in the state of Florida, but it's so. Because he's such a gamer and so let's just say a little bit more advanced electronically than his father, I wouldn't know how to even begin.
The dog is.
Wow.
Okay. Go ahead.
That's all right. I'm paying for everybody. So I'm walking up the stairs. And I see this sparkle in the room. I'm like, what? And I walk in the room, and I turn and I look. The TV's on.
You didn't leave it on?
I don't know how to. I've never had that TV on since he's passed. Right. I don't know how to. I had to turn the lights on and sit there and go through and try to figure out how to turn the TV off. It took me 5 minutes because everything's hooked to something that's hooked to something that's hooked to something, and finally I got it to shut off. And I just said, good rib, man. Good rib. And I just went to bed. But I mean, it was like,
did you take note of what was on? I'm curious what he switched it like it was Earthquake versus Hogan.
No, it was what it would always be on. It was the because we watched podcasts all the time. So it was the when you turn on YouTube, it has what you were watching.
Yeah.
Then underneath it
the suggestions and stuff.
That's what was on. And I was just like, wow. But the thing is, it's so weird when it's it's like I had an experience with my mom. I had an experience with my father when he passed, and it's like it's not spooky at all. It's not freak. It's so comforting, It's just like.
I remember it might have been the week after when we were on the air. You told a story about the first dream you had. And I thought you were going to say, I woke up and I was like, fuck, I got depressed. But you said you woke up and you were like, thank you. Like you were were thankful that you got a very vivid dream of him.
Yeah. And now it's off it,
Mm-hmm.
Did I tell the story last week where I had the dream where we had bought him a new car and he came home and it was was smoking. Car smoking. He had driven it through the tires, through the rims, down to where you actually where the lug nuts are. And I said to him, and he just matter of fact, he said, well, it was riding smooth when I was in it. And he walked by me, and I woke up in my dream, and I just thought, yeah, I guess because he had a Jeep, and we took it in, and had it, bumper to bumper. They went through it to make sure, because he wouldn't let you touch it. So we had that, fixed up.
Some feedback from the nihilistic hatred with the revelation of Oliver's background, thousands of Vikings and fishermen groaned loudly. They developed the wild country, sailed the seas on wood, and Sean gets scared at the sight of a gun. This was my 23andMe revelation that, maybe my people were on ships and did some not so nice things over here. Listen, first of all, you're happy on the land you stand on, right? Because you can leave. Secondly, I held a gun on Saturday night. I actually held a World War II service rifle, a 30-06, and I learned that the .06 was the year of manufacturing. 06 is the .06. The 30 is the caliber. Like, I know what the hell I'm talking about. But I did ask, and he told me. And I held it, I guess.
So it was the M1 Grenade, right?
What the fuck? It was what they used in World War II. And my grandfather was in World War II, so the gentleman knew him and said, here, your grandfather was in. It was an uncle. And I said, okay, here it is. There it is. Look at the bullets. Fantastic. Here, take it back. That was all. I didn't cock the thing either.
The only time I don't like a gun is when it's pointed at me.
Generally a good rule.
Yeah.
Oh, Ralphie Bronx, Sean Oliver, you're not the first, but you're the best. Depends what you're talking about. Thomas Johnson.
I hope that wasn't from a fucking a bus stop bathroom.
Thank you, George Michael. Thomas Johnson, great show today, guys. I've been listening since day one. Can't wait for the live show. Fuck Rogan. Kliq This holds the title.
I don't know about that.
Loose.
When I get that same every 2-week check he does, I'll tip my hat.
I don't want to do. I've asked this before. Is the guests? Is that the magic of the Rogan show? Just he does have good guests. Like, I've watched, like, a good cross section of guests.
Yeah, they're too long for me.
Yeah. It depends who it is. Like, I could listen to David Lee Roth talk for 3 hours. And I think he did on that show.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm about a 2-hour person.
Yeah.
I want to bail at 2 hours.
Yeah. That's why we keep it under 2, right? I don't know. There's
we try.
Some
Usually
weeks we've just rolled on 2.5 hours or whatever. But loose can.
Just don't get me on John Tenta.
Hakeem, it's coming. Hakeem served the Magic a 4-0 defeat in 1995 NBA Finals. SHAQ did own Ewing and Robinson, but not the Dream. Were you an Elijah One fan?
Thought he was a good player. Didn't Elijah One beat a young SHAQ with Hardaway?
Well, let's see. 95. SHAQ would have come in 93 draft.
Yes, I mean this is his first this is man.
Yeah, I think it was like 93 he would have been in.
There was a thing the other day on Instagram. The guy said, "Who wins on 3-on-3?" And it was SHAQ, LeBron, and Kobe, and then it was Hakeem, Elijah One. I want to think Jordan. I can't think of the other person. And it's 3-on-3. So that means, and I said because it was a known fact that nobody could stop Shaquille. Period. Like, nobody could stop him. And by the time, like, when he was with the Lakers and he was like 340, this guy's saying any team with Jordan on it. Let me tell you how 3-on-3 works, okay? This is how 3-on-3 works. If the Laker team gets the ball first and they go to Shaquille 11 straight times, it doesn't give a fuck. Jordan's never going to see the ball. They're just going to say out front, out front, out front, out front. It's just like you can't. The hack of SHAQ was the only way you could stop Shaquille. That was it, and this isn't going to stop. And then the only thing that gave Akeem any kind of a advantage was the fact that he was so much smaller and he was faster in the transition game. So he pushed Shaquille up and down the court. Play 3-on-3, you're playing half court. So it's like
it's all in the post at that point.
Absolutely. And there's nobody, I don't care if it was, Russell, I don't care who, Nate Thurman, you name them. Nobody is going to stop SHAQ.
While we're on athletes, did you see Franco Harris died today?
Yeah.
Youngish, right? 70.
Well, the thing that's really strange is like they were doing the whole. They did it. They did the whole thing on over Christmas. About the immaculate
reception.
I hate when people always say like, "Oh, and I watched that live." I watched that live. I watched that play live and had no idea why he was running with the ball. Because when you watched it live, man, it didn't show that.
It looks like it hit the ground, right?
No, he's just running down the sidelines with it. And you're like, what is he doing? And then they show that it wasn't like today there's 375 cameras. There's more cameras in an NFL game than there is in a Chinese intersection, which would be in Asia.
An Asian intersection.
Asian intersection.
Was that against the Cowboys, the immaculate reception?
No, it was the fucking Oakland.
Oh, it was Raiders, right? Okay.
I think it was Jack Tatum that hit him that put the ball in play. Speaking of great teams, how about those Lions?
Lions have been good to me on DraftKings this year.
Lions have been good to me on a very dismal year in my life. The Lions have been like, this is like, I remember my dad died in 1968, and I think about that year. He died in April of 1968, and I think about the Tigers beating St. Louis, and that's like yeah, 68 when when I hear when I think of 68, my dad passing, and then at the same time it's like, yeah, man, but Freehand stopped Lou Brock at home plate, and then that was the year that McClain won 31 games. He beat Dean's record, and Lolage ended up winning 3 games in the series. McClain never won a game in that series.
How do you follow a sport that has 180 games? Who can watch football 16 games and done?
No, it's done. I think they played 18 now.
Now it's 8. They're just stretching it out, but there's 18 weeks, but
yeah, 17
they're only playing
games.
17. 108. Who can follow this? Each game has this much significance to the entire season. When you're playing 17 games, 2 or 3 game streak could mean your season. 2 or 3 games in 180, each game doesn't mean anything. And it's like watching paint dry.
But I think baseball's so different because when I was a kid, like your uncle or your grandfather or somebody taught. Like I remember going to ball games with my dad. You paid 10 cents and you got the scorecard. And my dad would keep the scorecard with a pencil, and he would teach you how to do that. And that was, I remember my grandfather sitting, and he was my step grandfather, but he was my only grandfather I ever had. And he would just sit and smoke unfiltered Pall Malls one after another and listen to a transistor radio and listen to the Tigers every day at the kitchen table and drink Altus beer and just
that unfiltered gimmick is. I was at a party one time in college and I smoked cigarettes at the time, and I smoke Camel Lights, right? Well, they're filtered now. So someone's doing a run. Someone's doing a cigarette run. So yeah, Camel Lights. They come back, they don't have Camel Lights, they're Camels. I said, all right, fine. He hands me the little unfiltered box. So I'm like, yeah, fuck it. I mean, how different could it be? Holy shit. The visceral effect on the esophagus, the brain of the full drag.
That nicotine jolt that you. I remember a buddy of mine, his mom smoked Cools, and we were in like 6th or 7th grade, and no hell, we were in 5th grade, and he took one of her cigarettes, and we got a couple blocks from the house, and we took a wooden kitchen match, and just popped it, and we took it. I remember taking a drag, man. I mean.
And that was menthol too, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Cools?
yeah. Cools are menthol.
God, the only thing less pleasant than smoking that unfiltered Camel was watching a baseball game whenever I had.
I remember when I was a kid, people would open up the bottom of the menthol pack. They wouldn't open it up from the top; they'd open it up from the bottom and keep the menthol in.
Oh, was that a thing?
Yeah, in Detroit. Yeah, they used to call them squares back in the day.
Like the pizza.
Yeah, squares. Buddy's Pizza. Hey, that's an ongoing. I swear to God, since I've brought this up, it's like Little
all
Caesars,
over TV.
It's unbelievable. Little Caesar said they had a thing on Instagram today. There was like 1,000 square pizzas. There's one spot in the middle that's open. It says, "What's wrong with this?" And it says, somebody tried to pass a square pizza that wasn't a Detroit pizza. I'm like, you motherfuckers, man. There was no, like, I'm not going to, I'll take a lie detector that I never had a square pizza in my life in Detroit.
But I don't think this is a coincidence. I mean, a lot of people listen to this show. And I don't think the resurgence of the abundance of ads for the square Little Caesars Detroit style pizza is any coincidence. I can't remember having seen it.
Especially since my sister-in-law works for Little Caesars. She's like a high up. So,
where's that shirt, Steve? Bring me up one of that shirt in the new merch line. It's flying off the shelves. It's the Kevin Nash Detroit style pizza shirt. Those of you can look right below here. It should be below. I don't know. It still is. To get on that Kliq This merch deal, and the latest SKU, of course, is the pizza shirt, because it's getting so much action. There you go. Never square, not on 6 Mile. Kevin Nash's Detroit style pizza. You can get it in a black or white.
You know what? I like them both, but the white one reminds me of Little Caesars
because of the box, right? It's like the pizza box.
Yeah. That's what that was just. But I'll buy them. I'll wear the black one because I always wear black T-shirts.
You put your hand in your pocket too. Look at that.
Got to put your hands in your pocket.
Tyler Man Guy. I don't know if this has been pointed out to you guys yet, but I've never seen more Little Caesars Detroit-style pizza ads in any one place than before your podcasts. I forgot I put that in this week.
I guess I'm resting my case.
Can you believe it? It's finally here. It's the most wonderful time of the year, unless you get stressed out about how to pay for it. SaveWithConrad.com can help you make this the best Christmas ever. You won't make a house payment for the next 2 months. That's right. Skip your next 2 house payments and use all that cash for your extra holiday expenses. And come next year, you're going to have a lower monthly payment. Don't put Christmas on a credit card. Pay your credit card debt off at SaveWithConrad.com. NMLS number 65084, Equal Housing Lender. SaveWithConrad.com.
Exactly. Now, next week's a very special week for everybody here. It will be the new year. It will be the second day of the new year, 2023. So next week will be the year-end awards. Instead of the 4-star, we're going to call them the 4-dildo year-end awards. You'll have to tune in to hear the winners, the nominees, but the categories.
Can't just say
You can't now. The 4 dildos in honor of Buffalo.
Oh.
Category number 1, the Gaylord Perry Woman of the Year. Okay, anyone who doesn't remember, this is for the diehards on the show. The Gaylord Perry was the reference to not so discreetly placed Vaseline when you're going high speed in the bathroom there. So the woman who most maybe drew out the most action from one would get the Gaylord Perry Woman of the Year. Next category is Best Scott Hall Term. We floated a bunch of them on air, and they're all classic. I learned a new one this week. I should have goddamn wrote it down. Waltman said it, and I laughed. He goes, "That's a Scott term right there."
Did he say beefing?
No, it wasn't beefing. Oh, shit. You know what? Let me text him right now while we're talking. I'll see if I can get it by the end of the show. The Kliq This Fan of the Year could be one of the people in our jam-packed studio audience here today watching the show. Fan of the Year. Best boo-boo face. I'm still trying to understand that. Best boo-boo face. So it's, I guess, something that makes you go, like that. That's the boo-boo face?
I think it came from Yogi and Boo Boo.
And
By Yogi. Remember, you always, hey, what do you got, the boo-boo face going? That's where I know that's where it came from.
And you said it was a Scott, too, also, right?
Yeah, it's a Scott. It's a Scott.
Is that the boo-boo face?
No, that's I'm tired
and old.
And I'm eating a chocolate muffin.
Harley Race Wrestler of the Year.
For somebody that has claimed that they were what is the term that they used when you don't do drugs?
Straight edged.
Yeah, straight edge. For somebody, if that's the look you get if you go straight edge. God, imagine if he did a gagger.
I think he's an intense cat. He couldn't. Imagine him on the chemicals. You can't do it. Got to stay straight edge. Harley Race Wrestler of the Year. This will go to.
I wouldn't rub my eyes with sandpaper. That's for sure.
That we deem worthy of the Harley Race Wrestler. Looking for maybe a smoker, perhaps.
Looks like he maybe rubbed his eyes with John Tenta's balls somewhere on the south side of Asia.
They'd be tearing. Just the sweat, the funk. Stiff One of the Year. We'll go through our stiff ones and see which wins the Stiff One of the Year. Best Impersonation by Kevin or myself. The Uniondale, New York Bunkhouse Match of the Year. Okay, this will be a match with some interesting twist to it, like the Uniondale, Long Island Bunkhouse Stampede, which started an hour and a half earlier than anybody knew. Most Ignorant Tweet. The Pick a Hand Moment of the Year. Now, if anyone doesn't remember, that was Rob Van Dam, who famously told Taz, I believe, to pick a hand before he smacked him with it. The B. Arthur Woman of the Year. This could be anybody. It doesn't have to be entertainment or wrestling, just someone we identify as worthy of the Kliq. Now, it's got to be the identity of this show. It's got to be a woman who can hang with the Kliq This contingent. And then finally the Florida Man Jersey guy.
Steve just typed up Amber Heard over on the side over here.
Don't think that's not getting my vote.
And then Dom said Sarah Silverman. So I mean,
that's true too. She got a lot of play here.
Sarah always gets play.
She got a lot of play.
Hey, I'm subscribed.
Something you wouldn't need if Sarah swung up into that condo right now would be Blue Chew. But you may.
It's 63.
You may want to have it.
I'm gonna make sure I got a little pine tar on the bat.
It's a little insurance, is all it is. Do the Brett? What was his name? The Royals. when he charged the mound in the Yankee game.
George Brett.
George Brett, exactly. Get a little George Brett on your bat. Guys, it's all about confidence, and that's what Kev's talking about. Might be able to close the deal with Sarah, but why take the chance? You want to hit it and quit it, and you're going to have some Blue Chew on your side, okay? I was at a convention this past weekend in Philly, and one of the agents for one of the talent came up to me, and he went into his wallet. I thought he was going to give me money, but he pulled out a Blue Chew. He's like, I got mine. So it's happening, guys. It's the Blue Chew revolution. Nary a limp cock near our show. The Blue Chew revolution is here. It's the unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in chewable tablets at a fraction of the cost. Pop them any day, anytime, day or night. Plan ahead and just be ready for whenever the opportunity arises. It's really simple. Just sign up at BlueChew.com. Okay, go through the list. They'll talk about the ingredients in Viagra, the ingredients in Cialis, and which one is right for you. Do you need short-term? Do you need something that's going to last 24, 48 hours? One of their licensed medical providers is going to approve you, and when they do, you'll receive your prescription within days. Best part, all done online. No visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, no waiting in the pharmacy. Okay? Get it done. Nothing sexier than confidence, and you will have it. Have better sex, guys. Chew it and do it. And we've got our special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code NASH at checkout. Pay $5 for shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code NASH. To receive your first month free, visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the Stiff One of the Week, as always. For this one...
So how was it?
Yeah. What's that?
How was it?
The convention?
No, the guy fucking showed you.
Yeah, no.
I thought maybe he hit you.
No, he's swinging the shanker around, and I took off. But this is Paul London getting a little stiff with Triple H. And let's see.
The reason I'm pretty sure I will not be returning there anytime soon. If again, Hunter was always pretty glaringly, obviously jealous of certain individuals. I'm not saying he was jealous of me, but I could tell he was envious of Van Damme. He was extremely envious of Van Damme's success. He was envious of Van Damme's personality. He was envious of the way that everyone gravitated towards Rob because they liked being around Rob. He was very positive. And the most glaring is that, the work rate. Hunter's had the same matches his whole career, and the way I've seen it, if a guy is so damn tough, why does he need a sledgehammer all the time?
Did you notice, did you know Hunter to be... Hunter to be jealous of RVD? It's the first I'm hearing of that.
Yeah. Though I'll never forget, man, when that clip when RVD said, "Man, he'd come in and fuck up my vibe, man."
His Zen. He was talking about JBL.
Yeah. It dude come in all loud and shit and fuck up my Zen, man.
Yeah.
Paul's always had stroke. I don't know. There's too many people that are calling the shots, that are saying, "Wow, I wish I was below me on the card."
He was envious that Rob was able to achieve a Zen so easily, so quickly.
Fucking, I've never seen Paul sweat nothing.
Okay.
I love them both to death, but I mean, I don't know.
How about Paul London? You know Paul London?
Yeah. Okay. Talented.
Mm-hmm. 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 Could he have rode with the Kliq, maybe? Maybe he
I don't know him that well, but
all right.
Well, he hung out couple of indie shows and shit. I've always gotten along with him. He ain't afraid. I mean, he'll he ain't nobody you got to carry home. That's for sure.
Right. Okay.
He can hang.
Okay, it's time for Florida man or Jersey guy.
I never talk work rate about anybody. So it's like, yeah, fuck. That ain't my bag.
Waltman, by the way, he didn't. He said he needs a little more to remember which one. He said there was one for almost every occasion. A Scott term, he means. He said, "quote What are you gonna do? Pay us less or make us work harder?"
That was what he'd always say that.
Who do I make the check out to? Vince McMahon or Titan Sports? I guess that was another one.
Another one of his was, I was looking for a job when I got this one.
Yeah, I don't remember. I'll find it. It's in the tapes. Okay, here we are. Florida man, Jersey guy. Two headlines. One from Kev's fair state of Florida. One from up here in Jersey, and Kev's got a pretty good record. I think we got him last week, though, and we'll see what happens here. A lot of fans play along, and they. Steve, let me know the voting in the live audience over there when we do this. First one: bank robber attempts 2 robberies while wearing a T-shirt advertising a pizzeria in his hometown. And man accused of hitting wife with Christmas tree after being asked to help with dinner. Figured I'd read one for the holidays.
Wasn't that like recent?
It was actually, yes. This season. Bank robber attempts 2 robberies while wearing a T-shirt from a pizzeria.
I think the bank robber's jersey. I think I read this. The Florida guy hit his wife with the.
Let's see what the fans. First 2 fans are agreeing with you. Right. Well, you see pizzeria, right? You think Jersey. Like, there's the clue, I guess, right? Because you're absolutely correct. You are correct. So we head to.
Plus, I mean,
and look at this guy. Look at this badass that they pulled out of the bank. Well, he was trying to. It was actually a New York City bank, but he was a Jersey guy. And look at him, huh? Striking fear in the hearts of all near him when he walked in and demanded money.
I haven't seen him since he sat on the toilet and blew the back of his head up in Full Metal Jacket.
Oh, I was just going to say Full Metal Jacket. This is Richard Callison of Oradell, New Jersey, who was arrested on 14th Street in Manhattan in the Village after trying to rob his second bank. And
look at the female police officer's look on her face.
Like how fucking exactly. I've arrested a lot of dipshits in my life, but motherfucker,
you're a tool. You're a fucking tool.
Officer Rodriguez just cannot believe her eyes. And
the other guys over there saying, "Man, if there weren't so many cameras around here, I'd take him out at the knees."
And then in Florida,
pick me last in gym class, you motherfuckers. Yeah.
Well, someone married that, first of all. This was December 13th this year in Lake County, Florida. That's Richard Atkinson. He was arrested on multiple charges, including domestic battery. She asked for some help from dinner, and he pounded her with the Christmas tree. That's really the long and short.
Let's just look at the amount of tar and nicotine in that mustache.
That's a whole lot of cool right there with the K.
I guess the Unabomber fucking that gimmick was already taken.
And the Ted Kaczynski Award for Lifetime Achievement goes to Richard Atchison.
Shut up, bitch. I hit you with this tree. I hope it was an aluminum tree. I hope it was like a Douglas fir or something.
But of all things, like, let me run over there and grab the tree right now. It's just...
Maybe he's like me, though. Maybe he's like, if I hit her with the tree, she won't ask me to put the bitch up.
Break the thing in the process.
Yeah, break it over her head. I don't know.
I got to watch Raw a little bit this week.
Could that motherfucker's eyes be any closer?
It's a very interesting look. See, I would have opened Raw with his segment.
Instead of opening with Paul Heyman, open with that dude.
Yeah,
With
exactly.
a belt on each shoulder. You definitely catch my. I'd have been glued in on that. What?
Exactly. Isn't that what they used to do, man? Wasn't the opening of fucking Raw so? Now I'm going back to Nitro Raw days.
Yeah, and see, it's a completely different animal.
Yeah.
When you're booking against a competitor, it's completely different than booking against absolutely. Well, I mean, Raw has to go against Monday Night Football. So when I watched Raw, I watched all of Raw this week. It was more wrestling than I think I've ever seen on a 3-hour show that they've done. And maybe it just appeared that way. Maybe because the Usos were in 13 segments.
Yeah.
But
they run on the field on Monday Night Football if you switch channels. I don't know if you caught that. Yeah,
they ran back a punt for a touchdown.
Exactly.
No, it was just there was so much, and I think that you almost have to book it as if you put a bunch of talking and shit like that, man. Like somebody's gonna flip and see what the score is,
but I wouldn't. I don't know. I would never have turned off an NWO segment when you guys were talking in the ring. I knew nobody was getting hit for 10 minutes when you guys went to the ring, but I didn't change the channel.
But it was NWO was pop culture.
It can't be recreated today?
I don't think so. It's just kind of like the Mike Douglas show. You couldn't do the Mike Douglas show today.
Lawrence Welk, perhaps?
I mean,
some bubbles?
You might be able to pull off Paul Snyder. I don't know.
Tom Snyder.
Yeah. Tom Snyder, yeah. Tom Snyder. Carson, they'd always come back, and Carson would doing
yeah.
Get back to Snyder, he'd be like this.
Yeah.
It's 1:30. Fuck you.
Yeah, that shit was wild when they would smoke on camera. But to get back to Raw, so is there no reason to start hot to hook me from the beginning and make me invested in a significant storyline that you're going to advance? All right, so this week they opened with Paul Heyman with Roman Reigns, very small Roman Reigns promo. And then I think we were right into the tag team, right?
Right.
Street. What the hell?
Street Profits and that.
Street Profits, right?
And the Asian kid.
And yes, and so
who got beat?
There's an emptiness to that open. Shouldn't you front load the show still? Why? I understand there's no competitor. There's no Nitro. I
think what happens though is it's almost like they filled that to bring out like to bring out AJ and his crew, to bring the Us, like it's almost like they almost have matches instead of where they would used to talk to bridge, they actually have action, and they bridge the action with another piece. And then out of nowhere, AJ comes flying in after they did the run in, and it gets to me at the 10 o'clock hour. I think it was around 10 o'clock. I'm not sure. It may have been before that, but they had the ladder match.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I mean, I know that I don't particularly want to follow a ladder match. But then you're putting a tag match at the end, but you had it just, I don't know.
You don't have to put the ladder match at 9 o'clock, but I mean, it could still close the show. But can't you open hot with something related to the ladder match? Not just a casual reference to it. And I'm not saying that this happened this week. I'm just saying I watched this week, and that's what I was thinking about. It hasn't happened for a while. But I still think that front-loading the content, it happens in books, movies. You got to hook somebody in those first few minutes. And the product isn't doing that anymore. And I'm just wondering why. Is it only because there's no competitor? Do they not want the casual fan? They think, oh, it's the same people every week, so they'll hang for 3 hours.
So, okay, so wait, what would you have started?
Now I know I heard a jazz ensemble in your room just now.
Yeah.
T's laugh is in question, but I know that Buddy Rich, the ghost of Buddy Rich, is there hitting the cymbals.
Well, we did mention Carson, so he was a regular. On
He
Carson,
was.
So
Buddy Rich was so fucking badass.
remember when he used to play? He'd go.
With,
He'd always do it with his mouth. He'd go,
He was ferocious.
yeah. Not a handsome man.
Yeah, but that's not the yardstick they used back then.
No,
Different yardstick.
He could bang those sticks. I was wondering if he could bang all three.
I think I have a good stiff one of the week for Buddy Rich. I'll find it. He's yelling at his band. I'll see if I can get that.
See, here we go. It says, did you read this on the
Yeah,
blog?
I'm looking at it now. If a show's 3 hours, they need to be building to the main event match from the start of the show and play it throughout the night. That's kind of where I'm going, like carry me to that.
Well, tell me how the hell you didn't build it, the main event match any more than having the Usos in every segment before the main event.
In a compelling way.
I'm just,
You know what I'm talking about. Those opens with Austin's the glass crash, and he's going to be on the last segment. He's not getting in the ring back then until 10. Now I'm saying 9 o'clock start. I'm going with the old Raw 9 to 11. The glass would crash at 9:01, and he'd be in the.
You would rarely see. That's the difference, though. If they were going against nothing, then they would not. There was no way. I'm talking from Steve's perspective. There's no way that he would let them waste his pop for no reason. If he's going to go out at the end of the night and wrestle, if he's going, the only reason he's doing is they use Sable the same way.
Or but they do the thing where the car pulls, he walks in, they're following him into the building, that kind of thing. Something. Build me up to the end of the night. It's the pop shot. It's right. It's like fucking. It's exactly the same.
The Usos were beating somebody up in the back before that match.
Mm-hmm. Right. I guess I'm just not as excited about the Usos, I guess.
Well,
not that they're not talented. I'm just saying that I'm talking about the Austin thing.
They're the unified tag champs.
No, they are.
Sami Zayn looks like a young Fidel Castro. Ginger Castro.
Yeah. I guess I would just do it differently is what I'm saying. I would find there's a medium. All right, you don't have to do it. The pressure isn't on like it was in the Monday Night Wars days. But see, WCW, when you were in WCW, the 8 o'clock hour was whatever because they weren't up against Raw yet, right? So they'd have the luchadors come out.
Yeah, but that's so we did what they basically did on Raw. We gave action, and then there were times when Bischoff was at the announce table before, and he would be talking about the NWO throughout the matches because the matches from the cruiserweights were so good they could speak for themselves. You didn't have to call play by play.
But when Raw came on and you guys came to the ring from 9 to 11, it was a well-oiled machine. I mean, you guys knew. I know a lot of changes at 6:30 p.m. when something didn't work for someone, brother, or whatever. But you guys knew come 9 o'clock, you had to be hot for 2 hours. I'm talking about the mostly the live stuff. I know when Raw was doing the taping, and they would start to give away stuff beforehand, or the sheets would get their hands on something, what was coming. But when they were both live, it was so exciting. I don't know anyone that didn't flip back and forth. And you just left the TV on, whatever was more compelling. And I don't know why you can't write and book with that urgency. Is it the talent? Do we not have the roster that we had in '97? Is that why?
No, I say it all the time. It's just like people say, well, who'd you like to work against? I'm like, I don't know. I worked against 20 Hall of Famers, in that era.
Yeah, that roster you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. There was 20 Hall of Famers in that and on that roster. So it's like, you tell me.
I just like that formula. I want to go back in time. I want to care about it again.
Well, that's like you saying baseball's too long. And when I was a kid, I couldn't watch enough baseball. Now it's, I can't watch baseball. I can't watch baseball until it's the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Another thing too that that's tough to accept is when you're writing television and you want, all right, you need a confrontation, okay, before the main event. You want something to happen. How much attention is paid to the camera? Why is the camera there? How do we explain? There are times when it was never even addressed. And I would sit there and go, foolishly, looking for the logic and go, so who's filming this if you're supposed to be alone? Whispering that secret, how you're going to plan to take someone out at the knee when they walk by you backstage. There's a camera there. I always hated when they ignored the camera.
Even worse than that, this would be one of my favorites, is earlier in the night, somebody would get fucked and there'd be a rough bump and, the guy would come down and make the count 1, 2, 3. And then later on in the night, there'd be a situation that was the same. They'd raise the guy's hand and the referee would come from the back and say that he watched the monitor and they'd reverse the decision. Like it's either
to modern day Dusty.
Well, to me, it's either you're doing a soap opera and you're with some guy's wife. Now then you go to the coffee shop and the guy comes up to you and punches you in the face. And you go, "What's that for?" He goes, "I was at the monitor when you're with my wife." Oh, I didn't know. I mean, that's what so you have to either you, like I said, you can't change. The reason Monopoly works is because every time you pass go, you get $200. It's not 400 one time, 600. Like, it's just, there's rules and that's the thing with wrestling is a lot of times those rules aren't concrete because a lot of times they paint you into a corner. So it's just like, well, yeah, but maybe this week we'll go ahead and stretch the rules a little bit because, when it comes down to it, it is pro wrestling. So why would you get blinded? Then somebody take your arm, push you against the ropes. Why would you possibly let him throw you off? And then when you hit the other ropes, not grab those ropes when you still can't see and get clothesline.
This is a lot. We talked about this with chops and,
so
assistance on the top rope.
Yeah. It's at some point, either, then if you use common sense and you don't, like, if you stop somebody, then throw them back into the turnbuckle and follow with a clothesline, you're lazy. That's lazy. Makes sense, but you're lazy. You do 5 things. Because everybody knows that it's been in a fight that when it's all said and done,
Your arsenal is huge in the bar fight.
Even though when you get your ass kicked, people will definitely come up and go, I like that part when you guys were tumbling. That seemed to look aggressive.
When in TNA, at a certain point, and you were there in creative capacity,
I would run my mouth.
But when they would do the thing where the camera would be peeking through a door, see, now you're letting me know that I truly am seeing something that I'm not supposed to see. I say truly because we're going to suspend disbelief and say, okay, the camera's catching something.
Right.
That cracked door. I loved when I saw that because I said, okay, someone's paying attention now to the logic in the storyline. Easier to suspend that disbelief. You know, you're watching a movie. Nobody trips on the dolly. He turns around. Sorry, Hank.
But how many times have you watched a movie, especially when we were younger, and it was edited, but it was edited for the theater, and then they showed on TV, and the guy would turn, and there would be the boom mic would be in the shot, and you'd go, well, fuck, I'm watching a movie. So I mean,
that's an accident.
But I'm just saying, it's not. Scott Hall used to have one of the. He used to say, when you go and you pay whatever you pay to go see Arnold Schwarzenegger and the Terminator, you buy the tickets, you sit down, it says Arnold Schwarzenegger, you read his name, starts off, there's some lightning, all of a sudden there's a nude dude, he stands up, walks into a bar, takes the guy's clothes. Now you know that that's Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know he's what used to be a bodybuilder, but for some reason, for the next 2 hours, you have no problem believing he's a cybergenetic being because it's done well.
This is where we diverge from wrestling because we're supposed to be backstage at a sporting contest, right? So
why is everybody dressed in their gear?
as they're walking back. Yeah, exactly.
So obviously you know you have a match.
Yes.
I know I'm sure as hell not going to be, walking around in spandex and boots since 11 o'clock that morning for no reason.
A cyborg and an Asian walk into a bar.
John Tenta is the bartender.
John Tenta, an Asian, and a cyborg walk into a bar. Finish that, guys, for next week. So we'll give a prize to the best finish to that joke. But the peeking around the corner thing, the peeking through the door, whatever was being discussed by the wrestlers that we were kind of peeking in on, that suddenly made everything, that opened things up. Because you could have anything happen. You didn't have to explain the camera because they couldn't see it. Now, when the camera's sitting there in someone's face, I never, and this has been for years on Raw. I could never understand how they weren't explaining the camera. Now, if it's a stand-up promo with, tonight, that's a different ballgame. But on those skits where I'm just supposed to be a fly on the wall, it's just, it's never been believable enough because of that. I wish they would work harder.
It was during the golden era.
It was. That's what I'm saying. It was. And we knew there were cameras roving around backstage. So they never let us see something we really weren't supposed to see unless like that TNA thing, like where it catches something. But we weren't privy to hearing the plans that they were going to. Because it's on television. I don't know. Am I a moron? Wanting this logic to return?
Yeah, I don't think that that's your choice If you're looking for logic, I think you should not
Be watching Raw every week.
just. There's logic to there's so many intangibles. Like, to me, like, I understood what they were doing. They were giving so much action that you didn't get a chance. Like, it used to be that the Raw used to be come down, start a promo, halfway through the promo, other person's music comes down, they come to the top of the ramp. I don't like what you had to say. Oh, yeah, well, I'm better than you. Okay, well, I'll see you later on tonight. Then the next thing is there's a guy at the coffee pot. He's pouring a cup of coffee. Guy walks by, hits him with his shoulder. You got a problem? Yeah, I got a problem. Well, how about segment 4? We go out, put our gear on, and have a match. Works for me. So, I mean, that's the other way that things have been.
Okay, keep that example. I want to take you back to WCW. When someone else's music would hit and you and Scott didn't stop talking.
Well, that's just because we're dicks.
No, but go to the bar fight. Were you guys going to go, whoa. Whoa, you know.
That was the same as when we go out there on live TV and we'd be in the ring, or they'd be in the ring and they'd be calling us out. And they'd be like, outsiders, we watch you. We can't wait till Sunday. Scott will walk on and go, we can. It's like, so when are we going to go down? We're scheduled to go down to a pull apart. What is that going to do but take away from Sunday when we're supposed to be trying to sell this thing for $49? Like, no.
But that breaks from the conventional logic that they were trying to push. And that's what I'm talking about. Is nobody backstage going, what if we don't go down and hit them? What if we stand on the... But I guess it's all so tightly written now, right? There's no room for improvisation or talent to go, let's change it up.
Usos decide between their faction that they're not going to come down for a segment.
You can't today, is what I'm saying, right?
No,
right.
Not the way it's written.
Hey guys, Eric Bischoff here, and just want to call a quick timeout. I want to tell your listeners about what I've been telling everybody at Over at 83 Weeks for quite a while now, about all the cool things that are happening over at adfreeshows.com.
We get a peek behind the curtain on an all-new edition of The Insiders, as Conrad sits down with former WWE writer and current Impact producer Jimmy Jacobs.
You start to realize that you're one weird interaction with Vince away from being in the doghouse or being fired. Wow. And then you just start to behave in a way to try to not get fired. And then your ideas become ideas in an effort to not get fired. And pretty soon you have a whole bunch of people that are playing to not lose.
Want to pick the brain of the Podfather? We just celebrated episode 50 of Ask Conrad, our Q&A Mailbag series where Conrad answers your questions.
So, to me, Solo kind of has the Arn Anderson syndrome right now, where Arn was as good of a wrestler as anybody on the card, but because he's standing next to Ric Flair, he's just not going to get that opportunity. And even if he did, I think fans would say, oh yeah, I love Arn, but why isn't Ric here? And it feels a little bit like Shake and Bake in the old Talladega Nights. And I understand the Will Ferrell character was winning all the time, but what if the other fellow won? What if Mr. John C. Reilly won? And I think that's kind of the Solo circumstance.
If you're looking for interactive experiences, ad-free shows members can now take part in the live tapings of the podcast and are now part of the show.
Eric Jones, Josh Henney, Nathan, Mitchell, Coach Rosie, RJ, Amy's here. She came to the Testicle Festival. That's awesome. We get like one or two women, every once in a while, and I just love it when we do. Thank you all for doing this with us. This is kind of fun. Amy Vaughn's here. Amy! This is fun. I dig this. This is a different kind of energy. I don't know why.
Yeah, you're performing for a crowd now. It's not just me anymore, right? We're expanding.
That's just a small taste of what we've got waiting for you with 4 levels to choose from. See for yourself why ad-free shows is the best value in wrestling today. Sign up now at adfreeshows.com.
It's just like when I listen to the radio and I go, "Oh my God, what is this?" That's what this is with wrestling, right? It's just another point in time that others have accepted as the way it is, but folks with maybe a longer memory or older.
But if today, if you were listening to the radio and you heard somebody say, "I was working at a waitress as a cocktail bar, and I first saw you," you'd be like,
okay, bad example. There was a lot of dog. There was a lot of shit on TV.
There was a lot
on Raw and WCW in the '90s too.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit. There's a lot of shit music. It's all. Tell me, I remember I went to. Maybe I've said this before on this show, but since it is the holiday seasons, I remember going to the mall, and when you went to the mall and actually shopped, and I was walking, and there was this huge, in the middle of the courtyard, there was Santa and the elves, and there was a train, and there was just this wonderment in these kids' eyes as they're waiting for their chance. And I just kind of looked over and just kind of like in my heart, I remember saying like, wow. I remember when I was that kid. Like, I remember when that, like, did that to me. Now it's just like, wow, like all those kids waiting on that fat guy.
We romanticize what we knew.
Absolutely.
At a different time.
So all it is we're so jaded,
But I don't think I'm wrong in saying that you're never going to have the Scott Hall who's sent down to do a pull apart that goes, I can wait till Sunday. You're never going to have that. And that was glorious and great. And it was that well, I'll attribute it to Russo, you never know what's going to happen. And the unpredictability of wrestling, I guess it's done. It's as tightly scripted as any other episodic television. Not the spontaneity of what it used to be.
So I'm looking over here, and Steve said, put a thing on he said, go down the street and ask your random. Just a random person, who is your favorite Saturday Night Live cast? Okay?
Yeah.
So, of course, I would say Aykroyd, Belushi, Bill Murray, the original. Jane Curtin. That would be my favorite cast of all time.
Right.
Name 8 people on the cast of Saturday Night Live right now. Not the anybody doing the anchor.
That's what I was going to pick. Michael Che and Colin Jost. Those
Right.
are the two that I would go to. I liked Kate McKinnon, particularly her Rudy Giuliani was unbelievable.
Gone.
I know. You mean the current cast? I can't do it.
Yeah, we can't.
Well, what was your favorite? While we're on it, what was your favorite SNL?
That was such must-watch TV when I was a junior and a senior in high school. I mean, it's like you come in on Monday and that's all you talk about was
Yeah, it was such a thing, man. When it first started, it's not the movement. It was a real counterculture kind of. Well, look, Carlin was the first guest. I mean, that says it all.
I know, and I'm just saying though that's exactly where you're at right now with Raw. There's not a Belushi out there. There's not an Aykroyd. There's not a Bill Murray. There's not a Garrett Morris.
So talent's part of it too. Yeah.
It just, and I'm not saying the guys aren't super talented, but it's just everybody can do so much. Like if everybody could paint cubism, and you went into an art museum in Des Moines, and there was 1,100 different forms of cubism, and then you looked over there and there was Picasso, would you go, oh, wow, a Picasso?
But let's say things change. It could be the next thing. It doesn't have to be Picasso. It doesn't have to be but it could be the next thing. I don't know what it is. They'll find it maybe. But let me ask you this. So what would you change about the formula? So let's throw out my example of the Monday Night Wars, and let's forget about Nitro. Let's forget about all that stuff. What would you change?
Production quality.
Really?
I would have less house show. They've already shown for a fact during COVID that it was more profitable for them not to do live events. So come in on Sunday and have a call sheet and shoot. You know, have the crew come in Saturday and get all the locations in the building for all the shots, have a call sheet, come in and shoot 2 and 3 camera shots. That production crew could definitely edit and install on Monday, increase instead of everything being shot with a single camera, and give it a completely different look. And then, like I've always wanted to do, shoot the show like the Larry Sanders Show. When it's in the ring, it has that hard camera.
Oh, right. Cutting between film and video.
Yes.
Or the film look. Yeah.
Yes.
Live versus, okay, that's interesting.
That's what I would do. And then that way there, the camera doesn't go back and forth, which tells you it's a camera. It's the POV goes back and forth, which tells you I'm watching a televised show, and this is part of it. That's all it is. See, it's the only thing you watch that's trying to convey any kind of a story that's shot with a single camera.
So it would allow you also, well, it would kind of answer my thing, which was, how are you explaining the cameras that are there covering a sporting event, capturing something that there's allegedly no camera capturing? But by doing that, you're saying, here's the narrative story that there's no camera for, and here's the live event that our cameras are catching.
Because you could very easily be shooting a live interview that would have the Larry Sanders look, and it'd be backstage, and you could have the people, and you could use a single camera, shoot the 2 people cutting their promo with whoever the backstage person is,
with the live look,
with the live look, and then from a boom and maybe a ladder. As soon as it goes, they say, and out, and we're out, and now you can still pick up the sound because we're still mic'd, and you watch 2 guys walk in, and you see what happens backstage occur from a completely different POV with that different look, and now
it's like a movie.
Yes.
Wow, I can't believe no one's tried that.
It's expensive as fuck, man.
That would be interesting. You could do it. You could do it digitally, though.
Didn't that Rodriguez do that with that Luchador show? Didn't they try to shoot that kind of in that kind of
the one in San Diego, out in California, Luchador Underground? What was that called? Lucha Underground, right?
But it was single camera though.
You know what? I do remember that was done a little different. I mean, props to anybody that does try to shake it up like that and to try and change it. Seriously, like that's what'll have to happen, I think, for the next, whenever they find it, that'll be the next 10 years in wrestling, because, it lays a little flat. But listen, I mean, the business, I always talk about the ratings, comparing the ratings to the Monday Night Wars time. Entertainment's just different now because of all the competition and Netflix.
When was the last time you went to an actual theater and watched a movie?
Yeah, it doesn't happen often, but the only things you go there for are the big blockbusters, right?
I don't even do that.
The romance film is not going to play there anymore. That's going to go straight to streaming.
I'll go see.
Are reserved for.
I'll go see Magic Mike 3. I'll go see that because I'll want to see, because that's my boy Channing, and I'll want to as part of that team, I'll want to give my dollars. But anyway, when Black Adam came out, I knew that it would be on HBO, so I said I'll just wait.
It's easier to walk out of when you're watching it in your living room.
Well, it's for me. It's 63 years old. If something's 2 hours and 15 minutes, I'm gonna have to piss. And I mean, there's nothing like You don't
always have a bottle on the couch.
No, all I gotta do is hit pause on my couch.
Yeah.
When I'm in the theater, I gotta fucking walk all the way up to the fucking top. Then I got to make sure some pedophile or some meat gazer's not in there. So you got to give yourself a fluff as you're walking.
Oh.
You don't want to disappoint.
You're right. When you're famous, like you, it's going to be spoken about somewhere.
Somebody's going to give a book report somewhere.
When you Google the Reddit thread, Nash's cock, you want it to be positive reviews.
Especially if you say I want to get like a real opinion, and I decide to send in a photograph and $25. Have somebody
is
really
that on your menu,
and have somebody really give me the
Mandy Rose menu. Looking at earlier, that would be on the Nash menu.
Is that where that came from?
What's that? The $25?
I thought it was John Tenta's.
He'd have to charge a lot more than $25. I'll tell you.
I like to see him in maybe like a assless chaps.
Well, if you do I was going to say tugboat though. He wasn't he was Earthquake.
No, he was Quake, man.
Yeah.
Big Fred was tugboat.
Big Fred Ottman, exactly. Well, what? Fuck that.
He's a great fucker.
He's a good guy, and if Eric's gonna try and nail that number with John Tenta, maybe we should do it with Ottman next week. We do the Fred Ottman show and pit those two against each other and see what rating we draw. With the full out Fred Ottman main topic discussion, it can happen. And I'm wearing the sailor cap for it as well. Guys,
Sweet.
Not everyone uses nicotine. Okay. But if you do, you'll want to listen up. Okay. Get ready. This is an ad for Lucy Breakers. If you're one of the millions of adults who uses nicotine, you know that not all products are the same. And there's one new product that stands out above the rest. Lucy Breakers are the only nicotine pouch that give you a blast of flavor from the first moment to the last. Each pouch contains a capsule that you break open to release a rush of flavor that does not fade away like those other pouches. They come in so many flavors: mint, berry, citrus, mango, even espresso. And you don't have to go to the gas station or the corner store to get them. Just order online and they'll be shipped straight to your door. Every order gets free shipping. Plus, if you subscribe, you save $15 and you'll never run out. They'll always be delivered, okay? So whether you use nicotine while working, creating, or playing, Lucy Breakers are the intelligent choice. And we have a special deal for our listeners, okay? You're going to get $10 off your first order when you use our promo code NASH at checkout. And shipping is always free. That's lucy.co. Lucy.co. promo code Nash to receive $10 off and free shipping. As Joey Diaz might say, visit Lucy.co for more details, and thank Lucy for sponsoring the podcast. And here comes the fine print. Lucy products are only for adults of legal age, all right, and every order's age verified, all right? The product contains nicotine. Nicotine's an addictive chemical, all right? So get on there and get the Lucy.co promo code Nash. Get you $10 off and free shipping. Thank you, Lucy.
Ricky!
All right, it's Ask Nash. If you want access to Kevin Nash, this is one of the only places that you can have that, you know. Kevin was very clear. We have a lot of requests for press when we announced this show. And Kev said, as each offer came in, he said, make them come to us to hear it. Make them come to us. So, here you are. Here you are. Ask Nash. Hashtag Ask Nash if you're out there and you would like to get access. Like Robert Abishola, who said, I really enjoy Kevin talking hoops. In his opinion, who is on his all-time Michigan team? Okay. He said point guard Magic, shooting guard who, small forward who, power forward who, center who.
Michigan. Well, that you just named a Michigan State guy.
Magic.
Matt, he didn't play at Michigan.
Well, but the state of Michigan. He's from Michigan. He's from Lansing, right?
So I got to pick it. Jesus. All right.
You can put yourself at center if you want.
No, fuck no. Spencer Haywood.
The fuck is that?
Spencer Haywood?
Yeah, why don't I know that name? What team?
He was I think he went to the University of Detroit. I think he was 19 when he went to the AB. He was like one of the first guys that basically he played like a year. He's on that Lakers show. The Lakers picked him up when Magic was a rookie.
Okay.
Spencer was pretty sure he went to, I want to think Detroit Pershing. Ralph Simpson, who was an unbelievable player at Michigan State, played, maybe 8 or 9 years in the ABA, was like a 26, 27 point a game score. Of course, Magic. Let me think who else. Oh, Chris Webber. And then Juwan Howard.
Okay.
No, I'm trying to think. I'm sorry. My boy from Detroit Southwestern, Jalen
Rose. Okay. Robert goes on to say, this is not just a wrestling podcast. It's a masterclass on life. And I agree.
That's a hard one because Detroit, I mean, just Detroit alone has had, I know I missed 85 unbelievable players, but.
No, you could only pick 5, so it's. Zoa Lopez, one of our live audience attendees, and you too out there can be a live audience attendee. We're going to do these periodically. Go to adfreeshows.com and sign up and see how you can be part of the bonus content, not just of our show, but if Eric Bischoff is going to do some extra stuff, if he's going to show those photos of John Tenta and the GOAT, it's probably going to happen on an ad-free show. Zoel asks, looking forward to seeing you in Kansas City at Planet Comic-Con in 2023. That said, what's your favorite type of barbecue?
Kansas City's the dry rub's good. I would put Kansas City up there with. There used to be a place in Kansas City that we used to go to. It was on a corner. God, I can't remember. But it was like that was one of the places where, like, we always ate there. Me and Luger always ate there. That was like the only time I could get Luger to eat pork.
David Van Boeglen, who's also in the live audience, is asking, what are your thoughts on Rick's comment and Rick himself during that Nitro era.
What are Rick's comments?
Is it a specific comment, David?
Is this when him and Eric, the thing with him and Eric going back and forth?
I want to get clarification so we can answer your very question. All right.
I think what this is because I saw Eric's rebuttal where Eric basically said that he'd be more than happy to sit down and talk with him. He said he'd be more than happy if he just wants to punch him, but he said he's just not going to air this out on social media.
This was just this week, right?
Yeah,
that you're talking about. Oh, okay, all right. So yeah, I know about.
And they said, I guess
he said the four people that made that thing work were Sting, Hall, Nash, and Hogan, not Bischoff.
Who said that? That was
Rick. I guess Rick said
Rick?
it. Yeah.
I don't know. I know that Hall and that Nash guy wouldn't have been on that list had not Bischoff had Dallas reach out to us and bring us in. So.
Yeah, I mean, the guy with the vision, right? Are you going to discount Scorsese for the greatness of Goodfellas?
Yeah, no, I think that's one of those situations where I guess as time goes on, like, let's see, first part, Rick said, Scott Hall and Kevin Nash are the reason NWO worked. Hulk jumping over made it even more. That's absolutely true. I mean, we were already beating the WWE without Hulk. We were already the number one wrestling show after I think the third week. But I mean, you take two of the top five guys from WWE and you put them on the other show. I would think that you're probably gonna draw a number for a couple of weeks anyway.
But Rick's talking about, see, because Eric had the on-camera role too.
But I think where the heat lies is I was not in the locker room when this was said, was that it was like Savage, Piper, and Hogan were the only people that have ever drawn any money. Everybody else needs to shut the fuck up. Like Eric's made that comment with Rick in the room. Like Rick never drew money. I know, personally speaking for myself, when I was booking, and I'm glad that this was brought up, like this situation was brought up, because I'd forgotten about this. But I used to have what I called like the 12 top guys. And at one point, we had like 9 of the 12 guys were hurt. And I had to basically like write the whole show around Rick. So if I didn't have Rick, I'd been fucked. So nobody drew in the era before the NWO. Like nobody, there was a 10-year, vacuum where the business was just dismal.
Yeah, business was down. We're talking about the 90s, early 90s. After the steroid trials, sex scandals, all that stuff.
But it was even the
product was shitty too. The
Hulkamania thing was starting to die. The Saturday night main events were gone. You know, I mean, the business was in a downfall.
Yeah,
Crockett sold, so Crockett went to Turner. So it just but when Rick was, working for Crockett, see, Rick drew in the territories, which is completely different. Like you brought Rick in and Rick drew, and that was what he did. He came in and he drew, and he went to the next territory and he drew. And so
I think with that specific comment, he was talking about Eric's on-camera role, probably in NWO, which Eric would probably admit himself, I'm not going to put words in his mouth, was far more negligible than you guys in the ring. But Eric was kind of masterminding this whole thing, no?
Yeah, it was Eric's concept.
Right. Okay, so you know that's got to get props.
That'd be like me saying, me and Scott drove the Model T. No, Henry Ford doesn't get any credit.
Very good. It would take a Detroit guy to pull that one out, wouldn't it?
Thanks, babe.
Windy City Chi-Town Challenges says, I've been wondering if Sean or Kevin are fans of cigars. If so, what label or any favorites? Me personally, I'm a fan of Monte Cristos, Partagas, CEO, and my top 10 brands. Figured I'd ask both of you since you like the finer things in life. So do I. Yeah, I have some faves.
I'm not smoking shit unless it gets me high.
Right. But you did smoke cigars. I remember talking cigars with you.
Smoke cigars, but to me, I just like what it's like. I just don't want to have an ashtray for a mouth for a day and a half.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
You know, it's just.
Yeah. If you had to put me on the list there, I'll say Monte Cristo. I'll agree with you on that. Windy City. A Fuente, an Arturo Fuente, if I'm fortunate enough to be in the presence of an Opus X. That's very nice. I do like the Rocky Patel line of it's more full-bodied, like a vintage 92 or a 2000. His Connecticut, it's very light, Connecticut wrapper, but it's a good, like, everyday.
Which one, if you had to use one as a butt plug, which would it be?
The girth of the Connecticut is pretty impressive.
But you want the length of the Churchill or
the Churchill? Yeah, I mean you'd be singing Moon River. You get that all the way up there.
Because you're like an Asian dude might sneak in there with a short story,
right? Not nearly as effective as the Churchill.
No.
A good everyday cigar, pretty affordable, is the La Gloria Cubanas that I found that I do enjoy. All right. Thank you for asking that, Windy. See, let's go to our live audience here for some more.
Somebody out there want to ask about fucking fixing a car because I know nothing about that also.
Bryant Haremza, you had a ladder match with Triple H where you had to climb up and get a sledgehammer. How difficult is it to put together a ladder match when you both don't normally do them?
What do you mean both don't normally? How about fucking never? How about I've never done one in my life? I've got 17 knee operations and fucking he's running the show and I get to talk to him for about 8 minutes in the ring before the doors open. And that was my last match. Everybody else gets to have a last match. That was mine. Fuck me.
How about this? How about incorporating the sledgehammer? Not as a butt plug, by the way.
Who gives a fuck? Gives a fuck about a sledgehammer? All I know is you got to fucking if it's an 18-foot ladder. Guess what? Nobody wins until somebody goes off the motherfucker, and I wasn't going over. So.
Gotcha. Cav Manning with the Mandy Pub that's been gone on this week. Give me your top 3 hottest chicks in wrestling of all time at their peak. I'm going Tori, Sunny, Mandy. Sable always looked 40 to me. Sean, you answer too. As always, great show. All right, top 3 all time. So you can go way, but you can go Desiree Peterson. We can talk about. We can do Lolani Kai. Moolah in her heyday, if you want.
I'll go in no particular order.
Get right up into that mic. I don't want to miss one broad. I may have to look some up.
Trish.
Okay.
Tori. Sable.
Okay. I would go Elizabeth. A very pure, wholesome look. Nancy was pretty hot, right? Sullivan. Yeah, I mean, Sonny in the heyday, right?
Can I have one more?
Yeah. You can have as many as you want. You Kevin Nash.
I would definitely with Stacy also.
Okay.
Stacy and Tori were kind of like, you know, they were
kind of going with the contemporaries, I've noticed.
Well,
Where's Wendy Richter?
I mean, in that era, like I don't think any like I thought, but like Deuce was, Deuce was like she was hot, but she was also really athletic. And
Yeah, I mean, she was an athlete, sure.
Yeah, she was an athlete. Then you got like Trish took that to another level, where she could go, and she was she was really attractive. I think actually Trish has gotten better looking as she's gotten older.
Eddie Prather on the live audience set. Kevin, do you believe that the NWO became watered down when they started to let guys like Mike Rotunda, Stevie Ray, and Ray Traylor, et cetera, into the NWO? Couldn't give everyone a shirt, right? Although it seemed like it was happening.
No, it was. It was an easy way to get somebody over.
Was that the death of it?
I was reading today on Twitter, somebody said this is the 26th anniversary of NWO 2000 with Brett, me, Jarrett, and maybe Scott. So,
yeah.
I mean, there were so many different, I just put it this way. I mean, besides the Horsemen, there's probably not been, there's no organization that's had more members than the NWO.
Oh, without a question. I saw a list one time. I was looking. I didn't even remember half.
When you go to Hall of Fame, like the amount of Hall of Fame guys that were in the NWO, it's unbelievable.
Saturn Boy from Twitter says, since you live in Daytona Beach, I have to ask, have you ever met Vanilla Ice? And is he as chill as his name implies? I thought he was from Miami.
I have no idea where he's from. My first film I did was Ninja Turtles, and he was on set for his birthday when he sang the Go Ninja, Go Ninja, Go.
Ah,
big ninja, the ninja rap.
Did you smoke a bone with him?
No, he tried to smoke mine.
Sweet.
Everybody wanted to drag off the super shredder. I used to tell him, you're looking for the carburetors back there by the crack of my ass.
And that brings us to Michael Gallagher on the crack of the ass. Congratulations, Michael. How many times a day does someone do the rocks to you? I'm guessing not often.
I don't even know what the fuck that means.
Very good. David Van Bogelin, patiently waiting for his fourth question to be asked. A fight breaks out. Which of these men are the last standing? Harley Race, Dick Slater, Carl Gotch, or John Tenta? In their primes, of course. If it's at a Denny's, I'm going with Tenta.
I tell you what, man, I can't see anybody knocking Harley Race the fuck out.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's probably got to be Harley, too. You do hear about Dick. Who else do you hear about? Tracy Smothers, right? Haku. Those are kind of the common ones. But from that list, from what I know, it's got to be Harley, right? He has a good grip. Grabbed my balls one night.
I tell you right now, I've talked to Flair, and Flair had, like, if Haku's not on that list, then it's, the next one is Harley.
You go. Oh, and then finally we'll round it out with Michael Proulx. I'm going to mess this name up. Proulx. There he is. Prohl, I'll call it. If it was Sting and not Hogan as the third man, do you think the NWO continues on a similar hot streak?
No.
That'd be Hulkster, right?
Yeah, because it was a takeover of the WWE was taking over And if there's nobody that was more WWE than Hulk, so Sting had never been there before. Would Sting have been the next best choice? Absolutely. It just would not have had the same impact since he had not wasn't coming from Titan, as we used to call it.
Right. I mean, we've talked Sting this episode. We've talked Hogan. We've talked Harley. But I think we have enough John Tenta references to get us in the 15,000 in day one YouTube range, I think. I think this could happen this week.
If word gets out there.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna edit. We're gonna do a clip, and it's just gonna be a string of the Tenta references, I think.
All right.
Well, this is a fine time to remind everyone that Kliq This is a production of Butch and Sundance Media, produced in association with Podcast Heat, created by Tristan Nash, Kevin Nash, and Sean Oliver, producer Steve Kaufman, graphics by Dominic D'Angelo, title sequence and audio edit by Wesley Burleson, theme song by Dale Oliver, technical research by Tristan Nash. Copyright 2022, Butch and Sundance Media. Kev, the world wants to know, do you have another one in you?
Got to break in. So I call it they call it the button, but I call it the plaque. So the plaque is supposed to be coming. So my son, we got one plaque. We ordered several for the crew and everyone, but my son's going to be getting the first one. So for everybody out there that made that happen and made us get 100,000 subscribers, that's on its way. As they say in Detroit, fucking believe it when I see it. But besides that, just want to wish everybody a happy new year, because it's coming up, and hope you guys all had a joyous Christmas. Hope it was better than mine, because mine sucked.
23 is going to be better.
Can't be any worse.
It's going to be. All right, Shaul, to our live audience, thank you for joining us, our ad-free show people. Thank you for participating. We'll get you in here again in January, and if you want to join them, go to adfreeshows.com. Deuces, y'all.
John Tenta.
That's not what the T stands for.
No, that's my boy.